Okay, so this is my morning walk to school. That's the Paris Baguette, which is a little pastry shop where I bought the boys some bread for this morning. It's not that they don't eat at home, but they're always hungry, the boys at my winter camp. This is the kimbap place where I like to eat. The food is really good. It's pretty simple. There is the bank and the Angelina's coffee. It's technically written Angel in Us, but it's pronounced Angelinas. And coffee. There's so many coffee shops you wouldn't believe, and I like all of them. And over here we've got Grocery Mart, beauty shop, the walk to school in the mornings is pretty quiet, especially at this hour. I think, oddly enough, things are busier at 7 a.m., but I'm walking to school more like 8:30 now because winter camp started a little later. And over here we have these little machines, and they say, "Hey, look at me." They're apparently made in America or something, and the machines try to get you to look at them by saying, "Hey, look at me." And my first graders learned how to say that from those machines. So sometimes in class they'll yell, "Teacher, look at me!" And I wondered where they had learned that phrase, and it was from these little machines right here. These little machines wanting to get you to play the game. This is kind of a little batting cage. I haven't tried it, I want to, but baseball's a little bit too fast for me. I played softball and the speed is much slower, so maybe I'll try it sometime. Mexicana chicken to some place which is another coffee shop. The funny thing is you really can't have too many coffee shops because I've been to most of these, and you quickly find out that this one has good coffee, but that one has comfortable seats, and the other one has good Wi-Fi. So there are variations. How many of these machines are there? There's got to be like 6 on this road only. There's a sit-down Korean restaurant of some sort. I've eaten there before. I think it's mainly samgyeopsal, which is like a super kind of bacon. And on the other side, you can't see it, but it's my favorite noraebang, my favorite place to sing. Let's see. And here we come to all the intersections. These are the city mascots. Aren't they super cute? I think that they're rakes, but no one seems to know if they're actually supposed to be some sort of animal. We've decided they are just a character. But one is a boy, the green one's a boy, and the orange one's a girl, and they're pretty adorable. It makes me wonder if every city has a mascot or if it's just us. Seoul has it. Let's see. Oh, I forgot. Over there, that is the first restaurant I ate at in our town. The very first day they dropped us off from orientation, the teachers took us to eat there. It was very good eating. We were all so nervous because we Americans were meeting our co-teachers for the first time. If you look over this way, it's not precisely a river and it's mostly frozen now. It stays pretty low. But I remember sometime in August and September, it did flood pretty high because when the rains hit here, they hit hard. That seems true of all the weather here, that it gets very extreme. The heat is just insane when the heat comes, and the cold is very intense, and then the rain apparently falls for the entire month of July. And over here is giant soccer fields in the middle of everything. net around a big soccer field. I see some kids playing there, but I think it's actually mostly for adults. Relatively new restaurant. Construction here is always going on, so there's always something new to look at and some new place to visit. More frozen low to the ground river. And to our left we have a church I've been to a few times. It's a very nice church. The services are all in Korean. So while I went there, and I did love it, I was kind of glad to find a church with English services. Though I hear that now they're having English Bible studies for the young adult group on Sunday afternoons, so maybe someday when I can't hop the train to my church in another town, I'll come back for that. I have a few friends who go to that. It seems really nice. Okay, now we come to another big intersection. Well, that worked out alright. Normally you have to wait a really long time to get through. And now we go under several overpasses. You just have to kind of walk close to the side so there's a train. This being winter break, there are only a few students coming to the school for classes. But when school is in full swing, if you're walking to school at the right time, this path is full of kids here and kids there. Because not only is my middle school this way, the boys' high school is this way, so there's some of them too. And the girls' middle school is not far away, but for some reason they mostly walk on that side. Because that's where the split in their road is. And this is where it's sort of a little track where you can walk below. And there are giant apartment buildings over there. It's funny, our city feels fairly flat, and the flatness of our city is punctuated by these buildings that are, 12 stories tall or whatever. There are some massive apartment complexes. And what is interesting is that when I try to, there are also some rundown bits. When I try to tell people where I live, I'll describe my apartment because I live in what in America would be termed an apartment. But then when I tell them where I live, they say, oh no, one room. You live in a one room. So from what I'm able to piece together, these things are called apartments, regardless of how many rooms they have. And the tiny little building I'm in, my apartment isn't tiny, but the building is tiny. That is considered a one room. So, the more you know. Let's see, here's a little pavilion thing. Not sure what it's for. There's little fields. There's all sorts of little small fields and vegetable gardens around here. I get the feeling we were very agrarian at one point. Because I don't think that crops are still a huge part of how our town makes its living. And yet I see stuff growing everywhere. Sort of like an old habit or something. You have to kind of walk along the unpaved bit here. And this is a Hagwon. And Hagwon is a private academy. It's like a school after school for specific subjects. Like you can go to a math hagwon or an English hagwon, etc. Let's see. Here's where we cross over at the Suzuki dealership. Yeah, we're good. And I've definitely considered getting one of these little scooters, but the danger. And there's a very high rate of auto accidents here in our country, so I don't want to tempt fate there. And the planters along this path are shaped like soccer balls. It's not very far now. In the distance, if you keep going straight along this road, I'm going to turn in a little while, but if you continue going straight, it'll eventually lead you to Korea University, the campus we have in our city. Korea University has a few different campuses, and we have one of them, gas station. And we also have a branch of Hongik University. And from what I can tell, Korea University is more of a general studies university. And Hongik University is more of a liberal arts university, so you're going to have more of the art kids and drama kids, etc. there. I've also heard that there are a lot of international exchange students at Korea University. I've met some of them from America, whereas Hongik doesn't have exchange students right now. And I'm not positive, but I think the reason for the exchange students might be a lot of students in Korea want to go to other countries for university. And so to kind of make up for that loss, you create international student programs. So I think that's pretty fun. It's like everybody wants to go to another country. So when the students here go overseas students come here. And that's pretty nice. Oh, there's a student. Probably one of mine, judging by the bike. The high school boys rarely ride bikes. The interesting thing is a lot of the boys here will ride 2 or 3 kids to a bike. The way they do this is one kid sits in behind on the bicycle seat and one kid stands on the pedals. And then sometimes, if the handlebars are the right kind, you can sit somebody on the handlebars. It's pretty crazy. I was kind of shocked the first time I saw it. It's like, wow, we really want to travel in tandem, don't we? But it's very sweet. Promotes togetherness. There's another gas station, taxi. And technically I could take a taxi to school instead of doing this walk, but the walk gives me a little bit of time to gather my thoughts, etc. See, this is what I mean. There's this giant field right by the school. It is pretty cold today. I didn't check the exact temperature, and then I'd still have to convert it from Celsius to Fahrenheit to get a good idea of it. But suffice it to say, it is brr cold. It is cold like that. So it's kind of an interesting sight in the morning. You go from the very, very suburban, busy blocks of town to this abandoned field. And this is like a little bus station waiting area. A lot of the boys wait here for their bus because they live way down there. So instead of walking, they can take the bus. And that, I think, is a preschool with little Taj Mahal tops. So here we go. There's our sign. The sign that says that our school is this way. Oh. And the path kind of divides into colors here. Red for bikes and green for walking, but as you can see, that doesn't really matter much. No one follows that too badly. This path is really nice and smooth, but when it snows, I just walk on that little narrow strip of road. And we have these little murals on the side. This little pretty mural of whales And then a little while, it's not whales anymore. It changes and becomes, there we go. We go from the ocean to the desert, and now it's camels. Camels and bowler hats. It's pretty cute. I really wonder who painted this, because the whimsy of the whales and the camels. Oh, and there we are. Seals and penguins. It's pretty nice. And over here, this is a snack shop where a lot of the boys get snacks after school. Doesn't seem to be as much candy bar snacks as it is actual small amounts of cooked food. Which is good. I'm glad they have it. I've never tried it because it's always crowded and it's easier to just get something at home. Oh, more field. And this is also a snack shop of some sort. I guess the two places differentiate between their snacks, so there's not really much competition. And if you keep going straight, it's the high school, which I think looks very impressive, all the stuff they've got. Our city is getting more funding lately, and the high school especially has been building on bits. They've just been constructing for months, so hopefully some nice things are happening with their school. That's the high school, and this is the middle school, which is where I'm going. We're so close. Here we go. This is the home stretch. A lot of mornings I'll be coming in a little bit early for school, but the boys are supposed to come very early. So sometimes they're running at this last stretch to get there extra early and sign their names to the roll or whatever it is they do to check attendance. They rush in really quickly. And this is our little information booth. And giant pillar, other giant pillar. Planters full of, I'm assuming cabbages. I'm not exactly sure what they are, but they look like cabbages to me. Here we have a little basketball court and these things, and our giant soccer field mainly. This is where everyone wants to spend their time, on the soccer field. Because they're out here for PE and for lunch break. Mostly the third graders, I guess, and the third graders get some sort of precedence for seniority. And here we go. That over there, that special edition, is the first graders wing. And I actually don't think it's an addition. I think it was the first part of the school that was built in the 1950s, and everything else is an addition. If I was going to guess. Not entirely positive, but the design is totally different, and that part seems older, so it's probably a fair assumption. So here we go. And now I have walked you all the way to my school. And these are our doors.